You very much there, Kaz, as we are back onto the casting desk here, and we've got one more match before we're going to trade out to the next two Borg, where we have got Dog Like Spike taking on Prodigies here in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I mean, kind of similar story here as our last game was PPL versus Core Overflow. Kind of a lower place team versus a pretty higher place team. I think a lot of people are expecting DLS to win here, but I don't think you should sleep on Prodigies at all. I mean, hopefully, not cast or curse like I said with PPL last time, but I do think Prodigies now with Liari actually playing it instead of Pro Leon are looking really strong. They've been doing really, really well in scrims, I've heard. They've been doing very well in solo queue, playing against them all. Like, Pangui has been leveling up he has a Zentaro now, he's been playing Julie now. Like, he has a lot more picks than just that X now, so I definitely don't think they should be counted out this game.
Not at all, but, Dog Like Spike, you were talking about Core Overflow potentially being the most dominant team in this league. The one that would be contesting them, or the alternate choice for who the best team in show so far would be, is Dog Like Spike. These guys are sitting at 3-0-0. They have yet to drop a game. They even already went ahead and played one of this week's matches before this one, so they're already a little bit of a head start, and, they won that one too.
Yeah, I mean, I know I said Core Overflow is probably the best team right now, arguably. I saw Vaughn kind of getting a little angry at me in chat for that one, but I stand by what I said. I think they're looking really clean, but DLS also, I mean, another team, they're at the top of the leaderboards for a reason right now. You know what I mean? So I think that I'm expecting a fairly close game here, but I am expecting DLS to take this one fairly considerably 2-0.
That would be the expectation as well, but like you said, Prodigies, they got a little bit in the tank. I do not know. I assume if Vaughn is in Twitch chat, that means he's going to be playing for Dog Like Spike. During their streamed game last week, it was Megaverse coming in for them. But assuming they will be running that full three-man roster, that just makes them even more dangerous now coming up against Prodigies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming, like you said, it is Vaughn in. I don't see him anymore in the Twitch chat, so maybe he's talking to his team right now. Maybe they're focusing here.
Yeah, doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, doing what he's supposed to do. I did see it. It was a later message. It was, during the last game while we were casting. I was taking a scroll back up to read some of the messages. Also, thanks to everyone for tuning in, by the way. I think we're having a fun time here. These are really great games. And I think we'll be getting into this next one soon here, but yeah, anyway, players to look at, honestly, besides kind of who I already been talking about. On the side of Prodigy, Xeno Gemini. This guy has been holding it down. I think he has 2 accounts right now in Omega, working on his 3rd. He probably has 7 accounts in total. I'm expecting him to get Omega all of them before the season ends. So, absolute demon on the Atlas, and he's been practicing his Amy and his Estelle. He's got a lot of picks now. He's not just an Atlas one trick, so I'm expecting him to play really well. And then the side of DLS, I mean, Bells, as usual, just a standout player. This guy, what can he do? I mean, maybe KO a little bit, but I think those days are done, actually. Rare Bells KO, no more. He now actually gets a lot of kills. He scores a lot of goals. What more do you want from a forward?
Yeah, and, was already somebody who was picking up a lot of that Rasmus last week, and now freshly buffed during that 30th mini patch, getting Rasmus even just a little bit stronger. I would not be surprised to see that one coming on through for Bells, as it does look like it is going to be Night Market here for our first game of Dog Like Spike taking on Prodigies.
And as we get into the draft, like you said, Night Market here, I'm expecting some fairly standard comps here, fairly standard midfielder. It looks like a Zentaro ban coming in for the side of DLS. We'll have to see what Prodigies will be banning here, and it is Bells' Juliet. So we can expect Bells probably to be on the Rasmus, and then I'm expecting Gingerpop. Gingerpop is the midfielder now. I'm expecting Gingerpop to probably play a Vice, maybe a Rune, since it's Night Market. Sounds pretty good. And then as we see the Rasmus locked in here, a Dubu Hover. We might be seeing an Ice Skates Dubu here. Are you aware of that tech, Gordo?
I've heard it talked about on stream a little bit. I haven't gotten to experience it too much with my own eyes, and nobody was on Dubu last week when I was on stream, so I'm really excited to start to check it out here.
Yeah, and let's just real quick on the final comps. It will be on the side of Prodigy's Amy, Vice, Asher. I'm expecting it will be the Amy in the net, and then a Vice Asher forward, as we see it here. And then Rasmus, we do get the Dubu, and then I believe it was the Vice as well. And just real quick, I'm expecting to see a lot of pressure coming out from this Dubu. Vaughn does this a lot in solo queue. He builds up speed on those momentum boots, and he runs forward, he uses his ult, uses his log, keeps it forward for his aggressive forwards to get it into the net.
And already moving out here, actually somersaulting his way onto Penguin's face, looking to see if he can get a little damage onto that Asher, and Bells is going to finish the job on the Rasmus. Whiplash to finish off that kill and knocking it even further. Ginger Pop exposes the goal, and Vaughn, maybe out a little bit too far here, does manage to catch up with the core and knock it back over, but it is going to be at the cost of one of their barriers. But looking to close out the goal here is Ginger Pop, passes it down to Bells, and that's the goal for Dog Like Spike.
Hey, for DLS, barriers are optional, it seems. They don't need two, or they only need one. They don't need two, all right? That's all they need. Just one, hold it down. Vaughn runs up. Like I said, a lot of that pressure coming up. Vaughn, or Bells, excuse me, and Ginger Pop just get the quick KO, and then they just, execute a good goal there. Pretty standard.
For sure here. Ginger Pop getting some good damage in there with the Thunderstruck. It's Liari going to throw down the Supernova, but just get hooked back out. Death Touch finishes it off for Bells, and now Ginger Pop with a little bit of free time with that top side barrier, going to knock it down. Nice use of that sentry, going to keep the bottom one safe from Xeno Gemini on the time being. But Ginger Pop keeping the pressure on Vaughn, going so fast on the Dubu, will be continuing to play it aggressively. That's a knockout there, though, for the side of Prodigies, buying them a little bit of space. Ginger Pop staying defensive, but is now 1 versus 3. Pengui sees a chance to run rampant on these goal barriers, going to open it up, but Bells respawns in time. Will they be able to defend it? No, it slides right by Bells, and it's going to be evened up at 1-1.
Yeah, so I mean, Prodigies, like I was saying, very aggressive team. They're very, very good at finding those KOs and those confirms, and then once they do that, it's pretty easy goal from there. As you just saw, they found the 2 KOs. They found Vaughn a little bit too far out of his goal arc, as, we're saying might be an issue kind of earlier, but an issue for him, it seems, as a lot of damage early coming in now, and Ginger Pop's looking to be next on the list.
Got Ginger Pop getting pulled across the map there by that Firewall Sentry, but Vaughn finds a little KO of his own, and Bells up and aggressive, ready to try to knock it in. Nearly sneaks it in there, but Xeno Gemini is ready and waiting to save the goal. Liari on defense duty as well, as they are currently staggered and at risk of getting knocked off the map. Pengui has respawned and is going to get a KO right off the bat now. Bells, though, still staying aggressive, still keeping it towards the opposing side, using that stinger, using that damage. Liari nearly gets shattered. Vaughn can't save the one last barrier, and now it's open goals for both sides as Ginger Pop has just managed to respawn. Not going to be able to close it out, though. This one's being real close here, Borg.
Whoa, what a snipe! And right as he passed it off, the perfect, absolute perfect angle with that Vice ult through the middle of Night Market into the top bins. Really just hard save there from Xeno, but as we can see, Prodigy's really aggressive here. They're getting a lot of damage out and finding some KOs, but they're really struggling to find those goal barriers when they haven't done a KO, so we'll see how they kind of approach this going further, but it's a pretty close game so far.
Ginger Pop just knocked right out of there. Vaughn ticking down from the Stinger. The damage output that's producing here for this Vice on the side of Liari actually getting a lot done for the side of Prodigies. Ginger Pop going to respawn, though. They only lose 1 goal barrier for the effort. And now Bells and Ginger Pop going to be up to them now to try to play the aggressive side. Nice Death Touch, just barely finishes off another KO for Bells. And it's going to get moved on up by Vaughn. Goalie out of the box, ready to move up, ready to try to score. Ginger Pop going into the Supernova, nearly scores, but actually takes down his own barrier. But with this massive numbers advantage, surely DLS is going to close it out, and Ginger Pop does.
And they do. I mean, I was talking about Prodigy's aggression, but Stinger is a starting awakening, and both sides have it, Gordo. So that means that both sides can be doing just as much damage. And I do believe there's a little bit more damage on the side of, on the side of Prodigies. However, I don't think that it is too much difference, because Dubu can just play super far up and help out with that damage and with that pressure. They can find KOs on their own, too. The Rasmus is honestly finding a lot with that Death Touch, as you've been saying.
Yeah, no, just sneaking it in there. If you can land it onto somebody who's already staggered, the pull distance is just insane. And infinite tempo swing here, going to be utilized by multiple strikers here. 3 of them going to end up going over. They want that healing, they want that damage.
Yeah, and nothing super notable. Tempo helping them do a little bit more damage, a little bit more healing, help them live. I'm not expecting it to make too much of a difference since Bells has that tempo as well. Ginger Pop with that big fish is going to help him get a little bit more stagger, live a little bit better. But Vaughn actually taking the unstoppable, so he can play a little bit more dangerous, and I'm expecting him to do so as we see him walk towards the middle of the map right now.
We've seen him want to play dangerous throughout this entire set, and a KO off the Thunderstruck there. Nicely played by Ginger Pop. Vaughn, though, lets one by him. That's going to be an opened up goal. This is definitely an advantage for Prodigies once they get their missing man back. And Pengui going to respawn. Open goal already for their side. They want to try to smack it in here, but Ginger Pop knocks it back. Open goals now for both teams. Bells getting very low here. Going to get taken out by one more shot from Xeno Gemini. But can Pengui close it out? Liari at midfield knocks it back over. Clear again from Ginger Pop. Going to buy that space. And Vaughn now on defense.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, as we get back to it, Ginger Pop comes in and just absolutely rocks on and just destroys Pengui from the field there. And now it's a 3-on-2. We'll see it, and they can't get it in. Yeah, Bell's with a really good pendulum swing to find that goal. But, I mean, as we've been saying earlier, it just seems like Prodigies is trying to find those kills, but when they can't, it just seems like they can't find an opening and score.
That is the cost here. Pengui gonna move out here, been off the table for quite a while in this match, it feels like. Xeno Gemini not actually gonna be able to defend the barrier, not gonna get the second one either. Goals opened already. Bells accomplishing so much as Ginger Pop is just waiting to heal on up, and Bells has the whiplash ready, nearly takes it in up against Xeno Gemini, still playing aggressively and knocks it in with a pendulum swing.
And I mean, Bells just does Bells things right there. Just finding a goal from seemingly nowhere. Two people guarding, you know, he has almost no abilities left. As soon as his pendulum swing, that primary ability comes back up, the perfect uses of it through two people to get that goal. I mean, there's not much you can do there other than just play better.
God, no. I mean, incredible use of all the tools at his disposal there. Death touch back over. Liari taking a bunch of damage from the Stinger in the background here. Going to be staggers on both Bells and Liari. Liari going to force out the elusive with the use of that Supernova, and Ginger Pop getting pushed down towards the bottom, nearly getting taken out. Pengui wants to finish it, but can't find the opening. And now Vaughn just roll swapping with Ginger Pop midway through here while Ginger Pop takes the time to regen back up. And now Ginger Pop ready to return to the fray just in time to tag out Bells, who nearly gets knocked out by Pengui, and now going to be back into the 3-on-3 state.
Yeah, and I mean, as you saw there, Ginger Pop gets staggered, but one thing that I think Vaughn as a goalie does very, very good with this team is that he used to be a forward player, right? He's not shy to walk up and play forward. He loves playing forward, you know? Like, so I'm pretty sure he was yelling at Ginger Pop there, or Ginger Pop just knows. It might not even be calm, but runs back, takes that stagger up, Vaughn runs up, and just plays the forward role as well.
Yeah, Pengui jukes him out there a little bit, gets a KO as well, coming alive here with their backs against the wall in this set. Liari misses the strike, but gets it the second try. It's going to be open goals for both sides. Xeno Gemini passing it back down to Liari, bottom side, up to Pengui, going for the goal, and they get it. They keep it going. Prodigies finds another one.
Beautiful pass there from Liari. Good. I thought she was going to be shooting at bottom corner there, but perfect pass up to Pengui, who just squeezes it into the top, and Vaughn just can't get to it in time. Beautiful.
Really well played. Prodigies, you can see what you were talking about there, Orgus. They've done such a good job in this match, but it's just the little things are ending up favoring Dog Like Spike, and they're the ones who are coming out with more scores at the end of the day. But you can see the potential here. You can see that these guys are putting up a good fight. It's just not been enough.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting a lot of good damage. I think they're struggling to find a lot of these kills, with Vaughn just kind of being able to swap with his forwards and being so comfortable playing forward there, keeping that core on their side of the field, or off of their side of the field, rather, excuse me. And honestly, the damage isn't seeming to matter here with how good they're rotating.
That's definitely been the case, although Bells will get taken off the field here, so maybe a little bit of caster curse coming through. Xeno Gemini has the sentry, and they're going to get the score in. Pengui knocks it up and in. 2-2. Now a chance to actually take a set here for the side of Prodigies.
Yeah, Gordo, I fear I cursed it. I fear I might have cursed it a little bit there. But anyway, beautiful shot by Pengui. The Asher doing Asher things, just standing in front of the net, waiting for an opportunity. You know, as we see the round start here, honestly, I'm expecting Prodigies to make a comeback. Let's see if they can take this first set.
They've got the momentum. They've scored 2 in a row here, and they are going to lose a member to start things off. Probably not what you want to happen, as Bells now moving on over, wants to still be aggressive. Vaughn is in the other goal box. They are just 3-on-3 here on the other side of the field, risking so much, but accomplishing so much at the same time.
Yeah, and while you lose your goalie gear once you cross that midfield line, he gets the speed to get there in the first place, and he keeps that speed going forward and just can help his team. There's no threat when, you know, you have a million abilities blocking the side of the goal. I think this Dubu pick is very, very good on this map. We'll also see it utilized on top-end maps like Amy's app, or things with have a very, very defined two sides, top and bottom.
Crucial somersault there from Vaughn to keep things safe, to keep things alive. Bell's moving forward, gonna get pushed back though, and there's that barrier beam, or that path splitter there actually from Pengui, getting so much done. KOs from both sides. Bell's very low here. Pengui wants to finish the job. Does so. Double KO to Pengui as the pass up from Liari, looking to score 2v1 up against Vaughn. The clears have been good, though. Vaughn playing defense. The flip gets blocked away by Ginger Pop, and they stay alive for DLS. Liari, though, keeping the aggression on. Bells is respawned, though. He clears it back out, and the match goes on just for a little bit longer. One more shot from Vaughn. Doesn't quite land, but does clear it out with that fortress, and the game goes on. They're not letting this through on either side.
Oh! As you say that, yeah, I think there's a little bit of curse going on, but regardless, a beautiful shot from Bells again. I think that Pengui and Liari, you know, they were making really good headway there. Like, you know, they scored 2 goals. They're getting barriers quite often. I think they're coming back in this set. It's just all going to depend on Awakenings here. And as I say that, Prime Time I'm expecting is going to come out for the Dubu here. Possibly Twin Drive. We'll have to see here. Yeah, he does take the Prime Time, more logs, and it's built different Infinite. So I'm expecting, honestly, almost everybody to take this, except for maybe Xeno Gemini. Asher actually takes the Stagger Swagger to help live a little bit longer, as he was dying quite a few times, so not what you want here as the aggressive comp. But the build different, I mean, everyone's going to be a lot bigger, and then bulk up actually on the side of Ginger Pop, so I'm assuming he just wants to try to live a little bit longer. He doesn't really need that damage. He already has the size from Big Fish, so we'll have to see how it works out for him.
Only Liari and Bells actually going to be alternatively constructed this game. They are not going to end up taking it in too many cases. Ginger Pop taking a lot. Pengui just bullying dog like Spike here to start off this second round, getting a lot done and stepping up into their faces, threatening to knock them out. Will take one down. And now here comes Liari to try to push up on the other side. Vaughn, though, playing good defense. Bells knocks him out. Really good footwork here to avoid all of these skills, but can't avoid Pengui unless you go elusive. Now going to have to move aggressive in their own right. Does Death touch it back over, but that's going to be the opened up goal, taking advantage of Vaughn's aggressive positioning, going to result in an open goal here for the side of Prodigies, and they get themselves a KO as well, ready to try to knock this one in.
Yeah, and as they get a KO, it's a 2v3 here, so I'm expecting Liari and Pengui to try to find something. This is their time, as it is now 3-on-3, and Pengui is getting a little bit low, but with that Stagger Swagger, I don't expect them to be dying anytime soon. So we'll have to see if they can make use of their offensive pressure here, and they do. A perfect pass from Peng, or excuse me, not Pengui, Xeno. Amazing pass down the middle, down to Liari, wide open bottom side of the net. Great shot.
Pengui looking unleashed here with that Stagger Swagger, able to just stay up in the other team's face the whole way through. And dog like Spike, when they can't knock him around as easily, they don't seem to have a great answer to it quite yet. Let's see how they adapt as it goes on. Pengui playing aggressively in the bottom side here. Ginger Pop and Bells already both staggered, at risk of going down here, but they do have the man advantage, and they do want to utilize it. Vaughn stepping up towards midfield, ready to try to knock it in, ready to try to at least take down some barriers, but it will be Bells taken off of the bottom side by Liari. Double KO for Pengui, and it's 3v1. Vaughn has to defend this against all odds. Will manage to clear it out, buying crucial seconds. One more on the Rasmus. Here comes Bells, and they do manage to barely keep it defended, but they do not. Pengui knocks it in. A 2-0 set so far for Prodigies.
And again, just really, really good man-up plays from Prodigies. They're able to find these kills now, and now that Pengui has that Stagger Swagger, not really in danger of dying at all. Really, it's impossible to really focus him, because if you do and he doesn't die, you're wasting all of your abilities. Liari can just sit there and play safe, get orbs, and it's just incredibly hard for DLS to play. I'm expecting them to kind of get another set here. DLS is looking like they're a bit in trouble.
That is the risk. Pengui taking a fair bit here, getting knocked back and forth, and Prodigies, they want to keep this game going on. You know, we've got 2 in the bag here, but not even 1 win in the pocket for dog like Spike quite yet here. They looked like they were being so dominant for those first 2, but it's been going back in the favor of Prodigies here in this third set. They might 3-0 it, as they've opened up the goal once again, making so much difference here with the Stagger Swagger on Pengui. Liari looking for the bottom side, jumps on in with the Thunderstruck, but now Bells sees an opportunity to go aggressive, will open up one of the barriers, passing up to Ginger Pop, playing up in Gemini's face. Liari going to channel that Supernova to try to buy a little bit of additional space, but it's not going to clear the core just yet. Ginger Pop channeling their own now, trying to get a KO, can't quite find it, but the staggers are there, and Ginger Pop ready to knock it in. Core flip from Xeno Gemini clears it over to the other side, playing such great defense, and Vaughn's got his work cut out for him now with the Fortress up in front of him. Can't actually get the core cleared. Will manage to get it all the way back around, though.
Yeah, and both goalies here just absolutely dominating performances. You know, Vaughn, no barriers left, but he's holding it down. Like, he's made every single right move. Look at these clears. He's buying perfect time for his team. That's all he can do. And as his team finds that kill, and now it's a chance for DLS to swing this one back.
Thunderstruck finds another one. Ginger Pop makes it 2. And now it's the 3 versus 1. Penguin gonna have to play defense and just can't do it. 1-2 now in this set. Dog-like Spike back on the board.
Yeah, beautiful passes there from Bells and Ginger Pop. They're able to finally grind it out, not get killed, find kills of their own, and then get that goal. And also, correction, it's not the Ice Skates Dubu. I've been so scarred by it in solo queue. It's actually not. It's Strike Shot Dubu here, which I kind of think is a better choice in this match.
Yeah, getting plenty of reflections there where he is able to land the projectile, and turning Dubu into a ranged character just a little bit of the time does plenty, but Penguin and Liari doing plenty themselves, already having opened up the goal, and they're not letting it down. There's going to be a set win for Prodigies.
Yeah, I mean, that whole set, besides that last point, or excuse me, the point that DLS won, Prodigy's just kind of stomping them. They're finding that damage, they're getting those kill confirms, and then besides, you know, when DLS was able to grind it out and live the whole time, Prodigies just looks unstoppable if they can get those KOs. They're finding those goals incredibly quick, no matter how much of an Iron Wall Vaughn can be. He's just able to keep it in. And if we look at the awakenings here, we get Timeless for Dubu, extra special on the side of Liari here. So a lot more aggression and the adrenaline rush for Pangui. If anyone had watched the East qualifiers and saw Prodigies actually take on Liari's team before Liari joined Prodigies, we know that Penguin's a little bit of demon on the adrenaline rush, and so we'll have to see if he can utilize it as we get into this 4th set.
Yeah, and the aggressive playstyle from the Asher has been getting so much done for Penguin in that last set already. If they can keep up the pace that they've been getting these KOs, that adrenaline rush going to get so much done. Passing back up to Gemini now. Penguin's the only one who's taking a fair bit of damage. Bell's trying to buy some space. That's the Vice taken out. And Dog-like Spike have found themselves a numbers advantage. Bell's going to knock down one of the barriers. Vaughn now has to chase down that core on the other side to make sure they can keep the aggression going, and they do. But Vaughn actually almost lets it go. Pengui does not want to let this go unpunished. Does take down one barrier. Ginger Pop now taking a fair bit. Blinks back to the other side with the Thunderstruck. But now gonna be Pengui playing aggressive, knocking it up, moving up for Liari. But Bells and Ginger Pop managed to clear it again.
Yeah, and I mean, we're kind of seeing here, as Zemo's actually taking a lot of damage and might get KO'd here, manages to live as I say that. But as we saw in the draft, actually, I didn't talk about it, but Ginger Pop, I believe, did get that Deadeye, so they have a lot of kill pressure as Bells just, I mean, they find, like I said, they find the kill, they're able to live, and then Bells, when that 3v2, it's just unstoppable. They can't save it on the side of Prodigies with their goalie gone.
Yeah, it's such an awkward position there for Xeno Gemini when they get pushed out to midfield and are staggered and would have to go through multiple members of Dog-like Spike to actually get anything done. Just not able to do it. Gonna get KO'd, gonna end up giving up the goal as a result. And Pengui looking for a quick little KO there onto Bells, doesn't find it, but the Supernova damage does more than enough. Shatters Bells and going to take him out of the action for at least a little bit longer. Liari stepping forward. Pengui takes down one of the barriers. Bells now going to move in the one-on-one up against Xeno Gemini. Pengui is there for the assistance. Vaughn goes for the core flip, knocks it back up towards the top side, but they aren't going to be able to take out that last barrier. And now it's Bells on the aggressive, looking for Liari. Knock back onto both targets from the Supernova, but neither one ends up getting knocked out. Ginger Pop finds the opening on the last bit of the goal. Bells and Ginger Pop looking to push forward Xeno Gemini in the evasive. Liari fighting one-on-one up against Vaughn, just getting knocked away by the big Dubu, though, as Ginger Pop waiting on the top side, wants the pass. Pass comes up, but Xeno Gemini knocks it away. Pengui now opens up the goal on the other side. This one is so close here, Borg, but not going to end up being a score for either side quite yet. Whiplash going to be able to do it, and Ginger Pop knocks it in.
The perfect core flip from Ginger Pop there to find the kill, isolate that core, and then find the goal here. They're doing so much better this set with a little bit more damage that they found in that Awakening draft. And then with Timeless Creator on the Dubu, I don't know if you've noticed this, as we haven't really been talking about it, but these logs and these Dubu walls have been keeping the core forward for a majority of the match, allowing Bells and Ginger Pop to cook.
Oh, and already an opened goal here. Prodigies, just when you want to count them out, they come alive, but it's open goals instantly for both sides. There's still 40 seconds before overtime, and already both goals are open. Bells trying to find the angle. Supernova onto 3, and Ginger Pop closes the set just like that.
That was an absolutely beautiful Supernova by Ginger Pop there. Not only did he hit all 3 players on the side of Prodigies, he hit the core upward into the wall to pass it back down to him for that easy open net goal. And I mean, I don't know how you're feeling about the game, but I thought that was an extremely close game. I thought that if Prodigies, you know, were able to find maybe 1 or 2 or more of those KOs, I think that game could have gone either way.
100% agree with you there. I mean, Prodigies, starting on that third set, they just really look like a completely different team, and we're even playing it close on the 4th set as well. 3-1 might look like it's not that close, but it really came down to the wire there on a couple of those goals. There was a lot of opportunity for Prodigies to make something happen, and I'm real hyped for game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious on how these stats look here, if we could kind of scroll over to that and see how that looks. Yeah, wow, I mean, fairly even on both sides. However, I do believe that the damage on that Amy, you know, we did see a lot of staggered opponents on the side of DLS, so they were staggered a lot of the time. They were just playing their lives extremely, extremely well. So I'm expecting Prodigies needs to, you know, if they're going to stick with that kill strategy, they're going to have to find those crucial KOs, as they were pretty close on both sides in terms of KOs and damage. So they're going to have to find those confirms a little bit better. But when they did, I mean, they were looking unstoppable. So we'll have to see how game 2 plays out. But I expect this to be a very, very close set.
Yeah, I wonder if we see Pengui on the Asher again. Last week it was the X and the Zentaro a little bit more often. X now nerfed versus where he was previously, and also de facto nerfed, I feel, by all of the size getting reduced across all the Awakenings. You know, that just makes X have a little bit, all of his best options just a little bit worse. But the Zentaro, you know, people have been all over the Zentaro for a lot of today, and would be curious to see if that's what we see end up coming through.
They banned it the first game. You know, I'm expecting a ban on the second game. We'll have to see. Honestly, I'm kind of happy. It makes me sad to see it being banned, but I'm kind of happy that Zentaro is starting to get the recognition that he deserves. Because I've been grinding away out that character. I've played probably 250 games of it plus to get into Omega. And I saw the potential, and I'm glad we're finally able to see the respect he deserves here. But I kind of hope that they don't ban it so we can see it out. But without the Zentaro, and then with them having to ban Bells' Julie, I don't know if Pengui feels comfortable enough to play the X here. I kind of think he should. Even with the nerfs, I still think the character can put on a lot of hurt, but he didn't look too bad on the Asher. I think they just need to find those KOs and they'll be looking golden.
You know, that is what I've been loving about getting into competitive Omega Strikers. Crazy. That's the word I can't pronounce today. Omega Strikers is almost all the characters are seeing some play here in the competitive scene. You know, that might not stay true forever. We might end up in a little bit more of a set meta as time and balance patches go on. But, you know, right now, people have been willing to play almost everything. I think Luna is the only character I have not gotten to see on an NASL stream so far.
Yeah, and they actually did just buff Luna. I do think there is potential there. I just think that it's a lot harder to execute the Luna forward because I still don't really believe in the Luna goalie. I believe there's so many other higher value goalies that are going to be doing just as much, if not more damage than the Luna if you want something aggressive. And if you want something defensive, I mean, there's plenty of options out there with the Atlas. And as we just seen, the Dubu's making a resurgence. But I think that if we get an Atlas Lab, we might see a Luna on the side of DLS. We'll have to see. I can't promise anything, but I think if there's any team willing to play it, it might be them. We'll have to see here.
Yeah, I do see a loading screen here on my end, so I think we are getting into round number 2 of Dog Like Spike taking on Prodigies, and that first game was a good indicator of things to come. Want to see how Prodigies is going to be able to respond to this coming in to match number 2 as we are waiting to find out what the map is going to be. Excitement's starting to get to me here a little bit, Borg.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here stroking my mustache because I'm just sitting here staring at this loading like, I want to get into game 2, Gordo. I want to get into game 2. I want to see this. I'm hype right now.
This is the longest loading screen I've ever seen in Omega Strikers. This might be the loading bug that I've heard.
It is the loading bug. Yeah, it is the loading bug, the dreaded loading bug. It has been getting a little bit better. It does not happen very much anymore, but it's kind of a nightmare for tournaments right now. You know, so I haven't been getting it in solo queue. I'm glad that they were able to fix that. But, you know, Odie, I believe they're working on a fix to help it with spectators and with tournament viewing and all that other stuff. But unfortunately, we're going to be trying it, I think, one more time before we find alternative measures to watch this game. But I'm trying to think of what to say, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll give it a little bit more time. We might have a little bit of a longer delay than we expected, but we will be getting into that DLS Prodigies game for too long if we have anything.
Alrighty, and then which player do you think surprised you the most that game? Let's just talk about last game. Let's kind of break down what happened. Oh, I think you're muted, Gordo. You know, I'll answer the question first. Thank you very much, Borg. Yes. For me personally, I thought that on the side of DLS, I think Bells did an amazing job. I said before, it's a player to watch. He was rarely ever dying. I think he might have died maybe 2. I think I saw him die definitely 1 or 2 times, but he was not dying very often. And kind of just denying the win com from PROD as their aggression. And actually, we're getting into the draft here as Gordo is also, I believe, back, and we're getting into the game. Maybe that was the issue.
Maybe it's just my Discord that's griefing the entire stream. Who's to say?
Possibly, yeah.
Well, we'll definitely get this fixed in the future. We got one more game here, so, you know, I'm just writing it off at this point. If we're gonna get trolled by the Discord, we're gonna get trolled by the Discord, but we'll get this one figured out as we are on to Atlas's lab for game number 2. I think I missed what the bans were. Did you catch them, Borg?
So, big, exciting here. Exciting moment. They banned Xeno Gemini's Atlas instead of the Zentaro. So, oh, and there it is. Yep, I'm expecting to see the Zentaro here out for Pangui. The guy's been grinding it in solo queue. He's been playing in all these scrims. He's one of the best Zentaros right now, I think, in North America. As a Zentaro one-trick, you know, Zentaro main, I can play the characters, okay? But I think I see him playing it. He does everything right on the character, and I'm excited to see how he plays it. We have Rune for the Ginger Pop as well. Or, sorry, Ginger Pop is playing the Rune, and I'm excited to see that too. I think there's a lot of interesting picks on both sides here.
All right, an exciting one to check out here as we are getting loaded on to Atlas's lab for round 2 between these teams. It's going to be Bells on that Rasmus once again, but Liari on the Vice, every chance they get, doing a good job so far of getting the early damage onto Ginger Pop and Bells. They look to clear it back over and start knocking down those barriers. First one already through, and that's going to be a KO early on for Pengui onto the Rasmus, and now ready to look for a goal here. Liari channels that Supernova, can't quite knock it in, back and forth volley, but not quite able to finish the job. But Pengui right onto the goalie, already 2 KOs. The Zentaro showing up as promised.
Yeah, I mean, compared to Asher, Zentaro probably does, you know, 10 times more damage, we'll have to say. You know, Asher's pretty good at securing those KOs, but Zentaro is one of the highest damage characters in the entire game, backed by Vice and Amy, which, as you can see, is their entire comp.
Yeah, just looking for the damage, looking for the KOs. KO actually going to be found onto the Zentaro himself there, though, is going to put a little bit of a damper onto the plans from Prodigies. This is going to go over to Dog-like Spike now. Xeno pulling it back. Pengui looking for the knockout onto Ginger Pop. Can't quite find it, though. And now looking to finish the job is going to be the Sentry Turret. Knocked back up very fast on this core in the overtime. But Xeno Gemini not able to defend that last barrier. Bell's going to knock it back over. Now a banish nicely landed. They're going to take the Vice right off the board. Liari no longer available. Pengui responds, though. It's a 2-on-2. Bells and Vaughn now stepping up onto the other team's side. Want to finish this off goal onto Prodigies, but Vaughn has to somersault to defend. Prodigies can't quite finish the job. Can Pengui take it out? The Fortress is going to stop him. And Liari, keeping up the aggression, goes in for the Supernova. Another crucial save by Vaughn.
Yeah, and I mean, the pressure from Prodigies is just insane coming out here, but on the same side, Bells, the goal pressure coming out from just him, by himself, is incredible. Every single time he has gotten the core almost, he's done something with it. As he looks here, and there was a really good clear there from Xeno, and then Liari, they're stuck in a 2v3. Let's see if they can get out of this, Gordo.
Yeah, Pengui off the board has been such a big deal for Dog-like Spike. They just get all of their opportunities to play aggressive once he is no longer there, as he's come back up and is immediately getting another KO. Pass up to Liari, down to Pengui, looking to score. And now the pressure from the turret going to get them plenty more of the way there. Vaughn going to knock it back over. Xeno Gemini ready to clear, though. The numbers advantage making up all the difference for Prodigies here, but Bells has respawned. Ginger Pop actually finds the goal.
Beautiful mix-up there. I mean, Xeno had to choose top or bottom, and then Ginger Pop chose bottom, Xeno chose top, and, you know, it's just a penalty shootout, kind of like in soccer, but you had to choose one, and it was a 50-50 there. So beautiful shot from Ginger Pop. And honestly, DLS is just absolutely brick walling right now with the Rune kind of pillars helping out in net, and then the Dubu as well kind of sectioning off with his big body. There's not really much that Pengui and Liari are able to do here to find that goal.
Yeah, nice damage there landed onto Ginger Pop. He is just getting kind of bullied here as he gets stuck up against his own teammate's Fortress. Liari finally manages to clear it there with the core flip, passing up to Pengui, but a ton of damage there from the black hole. And now Pengui, in a little bit of a questionable situation, has to dodge all this damage coming in from Bells, nearly gets knocked out on the bottom side blast cone. Now in the middle here, trying just to avoid skills but be ready to receive the core so that they can actually keep a little bit of an aggressive game plan going. Very difficult here. The banish comes through, and that might be the KO on a Pengui. Does manage to stay safe, but is just again getting mobbed by two members of Dog Like Spike.
Yeah, and I mean, right as you pass it off, perfect shot placement there from Bells. There's only so many abilities that Xeno has to save it, and he was running out at some point. So what we're seeing here is that Pengui's actually struggling to survive. They're starting to banish and put a lot of pressure on the Pengui, and Zentaro has one of the lowest base staggers in the entire game. So it's really hard for him to survive if you focus him here. So I think DLS is kind of learning that, and they're kind of realizing that, and they're putting all that pressure onto him and just leaving Liari and Xeno by themselves because they know that Bells can cook, and they're letting him.
Yeah, I mean, that first round for Pengui was beautiful with how many KOs they were able to find, but they don't quite close it out into a goal, and it looks like Dog Like Spike have adapted, living up to the hype that they got as one of those invited teams. Now going to be looking to push it forward and take themselves the first set here of round 2. Pengui already staggered, already on the back foot. Vaughn just playing aggressively, going for the rollout. Doesn't quite take Zentaro out, but still keeping on that back foot is Pengui. Ginger Pop ready to defend. Vaughn falling back to defend that last barrier that they have available to them. Going to clear it towards the bottom side.
Yeah, and I mean, as we're looking here, it's one barrier to one barrier goal state. Things are kind of stagnant right now. You know, we're getting chances from both sides, but both goalies playing extremely well, and it just all comes down to the pressure. Core flip there from Pengui, able to survive. It really wasn't for core control. It was mainly for him to survive. As he was taken out by the room banish and the pillar there.
So nicely played there by Ginger Pop. Manages to snag Pengui in an unexpected angle and takes them off the map. And now with that numbers advantage, Dog Like Spike going to open up the goal and look to close it out. A nice flip by Liari. Vaughn barely defends at the last possible second. And Xeno Gemini clears it back over. This is not done yet. Prodigy is going to find themselves a KO on a Dog Like Spike. Pengui wants to take it the rest of the way in. Black hole back forward, but knocked away by Vaughn, who is now going to move it back on towards the other side. Wants to keep it cleared. Wants to buy time for the respawn from Bells, who does return. Oni's blade doesn't do anything as the banish had already come through. And now Vaughn again has to defend on the back foot. Bells still just level 3. Has been pushed out of this match for so long. Black hole going to knock him very low. Down to Pengui. Doesn't quite land it with the slashing strike. And again, impeccable defense from Vaughn means they cannot find a way to score.
Yeah, and I mean, we're really seeing the weakness of Zentaro here early on. And as actually he gets a kill there, so he's definitely not weakness in terms of damage and kill-wise, but, and perfect core from the bottom corner. They're not even letting me speak, Gordo, but as I'm trying to say here, the weakness of Zentaro early is that he doesn't have very much dash range unless you can get that starting awakening, you know, Super Surge or aerials or Chrono Boost. But he doesn't have that, so he can't combo a lot of things into making those goals happen. And Liari doesn't have any abilities too, because she has to kind of pressure here as she gets taken out by Ginger Pop with another great banish.
So many KOs in the early rounds once again coming through here. Xeno Gemini can't defend, gonna get both barriers knocked down there, and Vaughn now stepping up down to Bells, and there's the set win for the side of Dog Like Spike.
Yeah, and I mean, pretty solid set there from DLS. Vaughn just with absolutely iron wall defense, nothing's getting past him. And then I think the difference maker here is that rune. Because I don't know if you're paying attention to it, but these banishes are just stopping everything and everyone in their tracks. Like, Pengui's getting banished all over the place. Liari got killed by it last set. So we'll have to see if the awakenings here can make a difference. And I'm seeing Super Surge, so Zentaro is going to get Super Surge here, and I'm expecting Amy to take the extra special as well. And then Rune, and then the Dubu extra special. We're going to see a lot of ultimates this game.
Yeah, having 3 damage-dealing dashes or blinks, really helpful if you're Zentaro. They're going to end up taking that Super Surge for sure. Extra special for plenty of the rest of the team, as they are already to take to the court for game number 2. They want to get themselves back competitive in this. I mean, Prodigies have been looking better and better as it's gone on, but Dog Like Spike are the ones who still keep finding the wins.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a game to win, it's definitely this one. And now that you know, we have the Super Surge and the Zentaro. As I say that, you know, I mean, Bells just takes both entire goal barriers and then takes the goal as well. Let him cook. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Bells, one of the top scorers in the entire league, maybe the top scorer in the entire league so far. And he's proven it right here to us right now.
Sneaks it in there with the Whiplash. Well played by Bells. Under-leveled in this one as he's just been getting bullied by the Zentaro. Double banish comes through. Penguin loses everything, and Bells takes him out on the top blast zone. Now numbers advantage here for the side of Dog-like Spike, and they have not been one to let these go. Nice elusive there from the Rune. Goal gets opened up. Vaughn is here for the aggression. The pendulum swing nearly finishes the job. Bells can't quite do it this time, but Ginger Pop is there to try to clear it on the top side. Gets knocked back over. Vaughn is there to defend, and the banish once again, but a huge knockback from the Supernova, going to end up taking out one more member.
Yeah, and then Prodigy here, they have their chance. They need to get this barrier within the next 5 seconds here if they really want a good chance of continuing this set. And there we go, Penguin with the Super Surge dash. Perfect placement on there. And then perfect bottom corner. The Amy ult actually separated Ginger Pop, kept Vaughn on the other side, and he could not save the core there. It was perfect placement there. Perfect pass from Liari. Great shot from Penguin.
Great job there to keep it even at 1-1 in this second set. Not going to go quietly here, our Prodigies. They've got the awakenings they wanted for Penguin, and they can rely on him once again if they need to. The double banish, though, the damage is huge there. Bell's already going to take down one of the barriers. Xeno Gemini's got his work cut out for him here as Liari going to get very close to being staggered. Bell's ready to defend on the top side. Knocks Liari down very, very low. Going to be tough to play Vice in this kind of situation. A great Tofu Fortress there from Vaughn. Just stuffs the core flip, and they're still playing it as aggressively as they can. Liari forced onto the wrong side of the field here.
Yeah, and I mean, the map pressure from DLS is just insane here, and they're finding so many barriers because of it, with the Dubu wall coming in as the Ginger Pop actually gets KO'd here. But we'll see with the extra special on the Dubu, he can just ult after ult after ult. Lots of walls coming out.
No, Bells.
There's almost nothing Prodigies can do. As Bells is getting staggered here. Hard for him to live, and we'll have to see if he can stay alive.
Staying alive, but not able to really pull up much in the form of defense. Vaughn going to end up giving away one of those barriers. Now 1-1 in that department. Liari nearly takes out Bells once again. Penguin smells blood in the water, wants to finish the job, but Bells deftly avoiding some of those skills and is going to be able to pick up one more little boost to his health bar. Nice pick up there on the death touch. Bells gets another one.
Yeah, and Bells actually, in the training, he took Hotshot, which increases the core speed whenever you hit it with an ability, basically, and then refreshes the cooldown a little bit as well. So Hotshot is very, very good on Rasmus because of that reason we just saw right there. When you death touch the core, it is going to schmoove towards you, and he finds that perfectly placed shot from it as well.
Nice job there by Bells, going to immediately be staggered again, and Penguin hunting him down, looking to try to finish the job. Death touch landed, but it gets interrupted there. I think it was by Liari. Bells now on the back foot, getting knocked around, getting bullied quite a bit here, but all three members there are there to defend for Prodigies. And now just on top of Bells, Penguin wishes he could land just one of these skills. It might be enough to finish the job. Liari going for the alley-oop there off the black hole, but can't find it. And the banish going to take Liari off the map. And again, Dog-like Spike ready to play on the aggressive side.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm saying Prodigies, you know, their strength is all this aggressive, all the damage, but they're struggling right now. They cannot find the hits. They're struggling to keep the core on the other side of the field and get damage out, too, because of the pressure from DLS. And I'm not really sure how they're supposed to handle it. This is incredibly difficult to approach.
Yeah, the mechanical strength here from DLS is what's been making the difference, right? Penguin just can't find the last couple of skills that he needs to land to finish off these KOs. Bells and Ginger Pop have been too clean with it, and that's going to be a second set win over to Dog-like Spike.
Yeah, and then, like I said again, the hot shot from Rasmus kind of gets the core towards him. Perfect shot in the top corner. Propels it forward. Xeno just can't get there on time. Amy's too small to reach it, and when there's no abilities out, because she has to use them all to save all the barriers and protect her teammates, it's very hard for Xeno to play right now. And as we get into this awakening draft here, we have primetime for Rasmus, which is incredible. More pendulum swings, more hot shot placements, all of that going on. Deadeye for Xeno, actually, and Adrenaline Rush for Penguin, so they now have an opening. If they can find a single kill, then this might be looking really, really rough for DLS here.
the recipe for success for Pengui. That was the awakening that made all the difference in the first game. It's what actually got them that set win here up against DLS, but immediately off to a rough start here. Pengui going to get staggered. Bell's going to have the same happen to him. They pass it on down, now fighting over it in midfield, going to get one of those goal barriers off the board. A last-second elusive from Liari saves a KO, and Gemini now throwing down the turret to keep up the aggression. Vaughn stops it with a Tofu Fortress, though, and is willing to play forward if his teammates aren't able to. And again, Bell's pushed up towards the top, but manages to keep himself safe. Liari can't finish the job. Pengui has to play defense duty, and nobody falling low enough other than Pengui himself, who will get taken off the map.
This whole round is just weird. We have a Dubu playing forward, Bells, the Rasmus, playing back in their own net, and then KO'd from a random glitch pop across the map while Zeno is defending at the same time. So something's going crazy right now, but Ginger Pop looking low here. He's going to have to look to survive because you can tell Pengui's going to be hunting him here as Zeno holds it down.
Great block there by Zeno. Going to just throw down the barrier there to make sure that they will be able to defend the goal for at least a little bit longer. Liari there playing a little bit of assistance defense as well. The Supernova buys some time. The knockout there, the double for Vaughn as they bounce it back off the back wall, and now 3-on-1. They're going to banish. They're going to score. 1-0 start to the set for DLS.
And beautiful comms there too, if you caught that. He actually waited. Bells waited to actually kind of shoot that until the banish was up. So Ginger Pop and everyone just stalling, freezing, pause champing. The banish comes up. He doesn't even have to worry about wasting it because he does have that extra special. And then as 2 KOs come over from Prodigies, Pengui, it's time to cook, buddy. Let's go.
He's out here. He is not willing to go quietly, and they are going to open up the goal. Zeno Gemini waiting at midfield to knock it back in. They are not going to let off on this aggression. Vaughn taken low. Vaughn goes down. Another adrenaline surge proc. Pengui wants to take this the rest of the way in. Liari is there to knock it on in. They have got that barrier as well, and finally they will get it in with some help from the sentry turret.
Yeah, and actually what put it in there was the rune pillar, so he found the banish on Pengui to stop the threat of the score. But a little bit too, I think the pillar was just a little bit misplaced there and actually knocked the core in the net as well. So Tragic coming over, great defense from Ginger Pop, the great try there. But, I mean, Prodigies, they get the point. Let's see if they can continue it.
Knocking it back in. Zeno Gemini trying to play defense on the top side. Bell's going to be able to take out one of those barriers, and the elusive comes through from Ginger Pop to save himself from getting KO'd by the Thunderstruck. Liari, though, in a bad position down onto the bottom side. Bells wants to finish the job, can't quite get him, goes into elusive. And now Zeno Gemini going to finish him off with the glitch pop. Nice placement there from the IME goalie. Going to give a numbers advantage, but actually nobody's there to defend the goal. They actually end up opening it up. Well, at a numbers disadvantage, Ginger Pop and Vaughn, they're going to take that one for free.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a little bit of miscommunication there on the side of Prodigies, but I don't know if it'll matter because Ginger Pop is very low. If they can find this kill, there's always a chance. And with the heavy impact from Liari, she's a kill threat from literally anywhere on the map. And then great shot from Bells, but a great cover there from Liari.
Pengui doing what Pengui does best, finding himself a KO there on the top side, taking out the rune. Now going to be able to produce some space here, and now going aggressively up against Bells. They want to make this a 2 versus 1 if they can. Pengui going to get the KO, and now again going to be a 2-on-2 here. Zeno Gemini just hanging super far back, wants to make sure that they don't let a stray core come into their goal. Banish comes through from Ginger Pop to buy some time, and the respawn is going to be there in time for Bells. Zeno Gemini trying to play defense with the glitch pop. Will be able to clear it back over, but it's back to 3-on-3. Vaughn already staggered, but Bell's looking to get it into the goal. Can't quite find the target. Knocked back onto Vaughn, and there's the score for Prodigy.
Yeah, Liari with the perfect pass down. It was a little bit ahead of Pengui, but Pengui with the great foresight to see that, he couldn't reach it with a normal strike, and he propelled it forward with his primary ability there, and just absolute, great comeback there from Prodigies. And we'll see if they can take the whole set.
My look at Pengui is going to have to go into the elusive there for just a little bit, but getting so much damage done at the beginning of this round, knocking Ginger Pop incredibly low, getting plenty out of Vaughn as well, but Bell's going to show that he can finish the job whenever he needs to and takes Pengui off the map. That has been such a crucial piece of this comp. Will it be enough for them to take this set the full distance? Bell's staggered now, stepping forward. Pengui's back up and is going to go in on towards Bell's, trying to take the Rasmus off the map and trying to open up this goal. Ginger Pop left alone on the offense, looking to move it in. Vaughn is ready. Vaughn knocks it into the black hole. Creative play there from the side of DLS, nearly taking Pengui off the map again, and Bells is going to be the one charged with chasing him the rest of the way down, but the goal gets opened up there with a nice shot from Liari. Pengui now no longer staggered, ready to step up, looks for Glitch Pop, who blinks to the other side of the map, and they do manage to clear it back over onto Prodigy's side. Going to be open goals for both parties. Dog-like Spike, they want to score here. They want to take it to 2-2. Liari looking to score. A little bit of time, but here comes that Firewall Sentry, and it's going to be enough to score.
And Vaughn just using absolutely everything. He had nothing left. He used everything perfectly to save it, but problem there was both of his team members, they didn't give him any help. They relied on Vaughn to get it to him, but Liari was doing such a great job there, keeping the core forward and just allowing Pengui, you know, to section off that other side. So Vaughn had nowhere to clear it. There was nothing he could do, and beautiful kind of score there from the side of Prodigies. They take a set.
Great job by Prodigies, but they've been here before, Borg. They did it in game number 1. They won themselves one set, and they got smacked back down in the 4th.
Gordo,
Let's see if they can take this one the rest of the way. Oh my god,
I fear
really?
Infinite Awakenings have struck again.
Oh, I thought for sure you were saying my Discord wasn't working.
No, this is worse. Stagger, Swagger, Infinite Trainings. Can I get some booze in chat? Because this is ridiculous. All 3 members of DLS take the Stagger, Swagger, and sadly now the entire comp, the entire aggressive comp from the side of Prodigies has now been nullified. This is going to be a little bit harder for them now.
It's the difficulty has to turn up as the story goes on, Borg, and it's tough now. You can see it. Maybe they know that things have gotten a lot more difficult, as Bells is going to be able to easily smack one in there with the pendulum swing.
Yeah, and DLS is just absolutely just probably laughing right now at how ridiculous this is. There was such a close game. Prodigy showing signs of life, but now they can't even do damage without rewarding the enemy team. And as I say that, Pengui with a good play to get both barriers.
Going to just take both out there. Well played by Pengui. It is going to be at the cost of his own life. And will they be able to defend until Pengui can return? It looks like they just might be able to. Good defense from Liari and Zeno going to buy the time. And now Pengui is here. Pengui is ready to step up. He's got the dashes. And they do have that sentry turret to buy themselves a little bit of time. But Bells finds the opening again off the banish. And it's going to be 2-0.
The perfect banishes, I mean, as we've been seeing from Ginger Pop, you can tell this guy is known for the character for a reason, because him and Bells are just finding the perfect synergy together to pass it down to Bells, find that double banish, and then it's just a free shot. So I'm expecting DLS to clean this one quick, but hopefully we can see some life out of Prodigies. Maybe we can see a kill or a goal here. We'll have to see.
Oh, knock back up there. They managed to take Pengui off the map once again, and that's going to be a quick one there. Dog-like Spike. They're going to take the match 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, really just a tragedy there. I mean, Prodigies played towards their kill comp. They were playing it very well, took that 3rd set, and then they kind of just got a little bit screwed over by Stagger Swagger. There's not really too much I really expect for them to do at that point. Their whole, I guess, the whole point of their comp is to kill and to damage and keep them pressured, but you're actually rewarding the enemy team by damaging them when they take that Stagger Swagger. And as we take a look at the stats here, look at the damage from Prodigies. It's just absolutely insane. They're ahead on everybody except for the side of Bells, who was hanging with them that whole time. And if we look at the KOs here, I believe it is 14 KOs for the side of DLS and 16 KOs, so a little bit more for the side of Prodigies. And you could tell because they were really giving it to them. I love the fact that they were giving it to DLS. They weren't making the game easy, but I fear the game made the game easy for DLS there and rewarded them. They said, we want you to battle for 4th place with Core Overflow with this training. And, I mean, just kind of gave it to the easy one for free there. I think DLS still had a lot they could do, and it was definitely still a very close game. It definitely was not a Prodigy's win there without that training, but it definitely would have been as bad as it was with that.
Yeah, and I do want to give a shout out to DLS, though, as well. Like, with that massive damage disadvantage, I mean, part of that, right, is that every time they get staggered, they were so close to getting KO'd so many times, but they were really able to just kind of turn it up to an extra level once they are in that staggered position. They can get knocked right towards the edge, and then they'll dodge all of the crucial abilities, and they'll keep themselves alive for a lot longer than we've seen from a lot of players in this league. So, some great mechanical showings from them as well, from both sides, really, as this was a ton of fun to watch, even though DLS on the scoreboard do end up looking pretty far ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, Honestly, great games to cast. I think, I mean, we were losing our voice there for a second there, trading it off back and forth. I mean, there's just so much going on in those games. It didn't really feel like a 3-1, 3-1. It felt like a much closer set than that. But, you know, it goes how it goes. DLS with the win. Congratulations to them. And I believe, are they 4-0 now? I believe
that does make them 4-0. Yeah,
they are 4-0 in terms of their games. I'm not sure on how many points they have in the league. We're gonna have to check the stat sheet for that, but unfortunate for the side of Prodigies. But I do think that seeing this, they have some life in them, and they could contend for that 5th to 4th place spot, possibly to maybe get into the playoffs. We'll have to see how it goes.
Absolutely, and we are getting ready to send it over to the analyst desk. That's going to do it for Borg and I today, so thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us for 2 matches. Borg, probably going to be back next week. I think I'm going to be back in 2 weeks, but thank you all for hanging out with us. We're going to pass you on to our next set of casters, but first, over to Kaz in the analyst desk.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gordo. You guys had a great cast.